Alright, ladies and gentlemen, welcome back to the course. We are looking at Section D, Reading Comprehension, and this is a little bit of a short one. It's only one page, and it is titled The Legend of Stingy Jack. So, while you're reading through this, just pay attention to the words. If you come across any word that you're not necessarily familiar with, try and familiarize yourself with that word. Look up the definition, look up the meaning, and then revisit this reading comprehension to expand your understanding. And also, when you're reading through this, develop your own pace. Do not rush. Take your time and pay attention to how I pronounce certain words. Pay attention to my use in intonation. And most of all, have fun. Alright, so let's get going. People have been making jack-o'-lanterns at Halloween for centuries. The practice originated from an Irish myth about a man nicknamed Stingy Jack. According to the story, Stingy Jack invited the devil to have a drink with him. True to his name, Stingy Jack didn't want to pay for his drink, so he convinced the devil to turn himself into a coin that Jack could use to buy their drinks. Once the devil did so, Jack decided to keep the money and put it in his pocket next to a silver cross, which prevented the devil from changing back into his original form. Jack eventually freed the devil under the condition that he would not bother Jack for 1 year, and that should Jack die, he would not claim his soul. The next year, Jack again tricked the devil into climbing up into a tree to pick up a piece of fruit. While he was up in this tree, Jack carved a sign of the cross into the tree's bark so that the devil could not come down until the devil promised Jack not to bother him for 10 more years. Soon after, Jack died. As the legend goes, God would not allow such an unsavory figure into heaven. The devil, upset by the trick Jack had played on him, and keeping his word not to claim his soul, would not allow Jack into hell. He sent Jack off into the dark night with only a burning coal to light his way. Jack put the coal into a carved out turnip and has been roaming the earth with ever since. The Irish began to refer to this ghostly figure as Jack of the Lantern, and then simply Jack-o'-lantern. In Ireland and Scotland, people began to make their own versions of Jack's lantern by carving scary faces into turnips or potatoes and placing them into windows or near doors to frighten away stingy Jack, and other warding evil spirits. In England, large beets are used. Immigrants from these countries brought the jack-o'-lantern tradition with them. When they came to the United States, they soon found that pumpkins, a fruit native to America, make perfect jack-o'-lanterns. Wow, okay, so I never knew this tradition or this kind of concept actually came from immigrants that were not necessarily American. Alright, that's something quite interesting. Never knew that information. I would like to know, did you know this? Have you ever learned or heard about the story of the jack-o'-lantern? It's quite an interesting story. Seems like quite a bad person or bad thing. Alright, so let's get going with the true or false. the box over there, we can see it's from number 1 to number 9. So, are the following statements true or false? Number 1, jack-o'-lanterns first appeared in Ireland. So if we have a look at this article, it starts off here. So people have been making jack-o'-lanterns at Halloween for centuries. The practice originated from an Irish myth. So we got our answer there. So this is true. Jack-o'-lanterns first appeared in Ireland. Number 2, Jack didn't want to pay for the drinks because he was mean with money. Now let's have a look here. So it says, Stingy Jack invited the devil to have a drink with him. True to his name, Stingy Jack didn't want to pay for his drink. So he's staying true to his name, which means he's stingy, doesn't want to give. So that's one way of being mean, so we can say that is true. Okay, number 3. Jack had a silver cross in his pocket to prevent the devil from taking his soul. So let's have a look here. Let's have a look here, and then if we see on this line, I'm trying to figure out where I should start reading the sentence. Okay, so the next year, Jack again tricked the devil into climbing into a tree to pick a piece of fruit. While he was up there in the tree, Jack carved a sign of the cross into the tree's bark so that the devil could not come down until the devil promised Jack not to bother him for 10 more years. So if we look at what it says here, it says Jack had a silver cross in his pocket to prevent the devil from taking his soul. So there's no mention of the soul there. It says so that the devil could not come down, and also that the devil would not bother him. So no mention of the soul. So this is false. Jack had a silver cross in his pocket to prevent the devil from taking his soul. False. Number 4, the devil had to promise not to bother Jack for 10 years before he could come down from the tree. Now let's revisit that sentence again. So if we look there, next year Jack again tricked the devil into climbing into a tree to pick a piece of fruit. While he was up in the tree, Jack carved a sign of the cross into the tree's bark so that the devil could not come down until the devil promised Jack not to bother him for 10 more years. So if we have a look there at number 4, the devil had to promise not to bother Jack for 10 years before he could come down from the tree. That is true. Okay, number 5. When he died, Jack wasn't allowed into heaven because he was a bad person. So if we look here, when it makes reference to heaven, let's see. Where did it say heaven? Oh, cannot find it now. Okay, so if we recall, it started off, yes, so it says here that soon after Jack, as the legend goes, God would not allow such an unsavory figure into heaven. So if we look at that word unsavory, it's something or someone that's like just not pleasant. It's not pleasant. So that we can connect it towards being a bad person. So we can say that is true. Okay, number 6. The devil gave Jack a candle to light his way in the dark. Okay, so is that true? Did he give him a candle? So he sent Jack off into the dark with only a burning coal to light his way. See, so the devil gave Jack a candle to light his way in the dark. He gave him burning coal, so that is false. Okay, number 7. The original jack-o'-lanterns were carved from pumpkins. Actually, if we have a look here, it says immigrants from these countries brought the jack-o'-lantern tradition with them when they came to the United States. They soon found that pumpkins a fruit native to America, make perfect jack-o'-lanterns. So they only discovered that after they arrived in the United States. So the original jack-o'-lanterns were carved from pumpkins? No, they weren't the original ones. So that is false. 8. People place them near doors to keep evil spirits away. So if we have a look here, in Ireland and Scotland, people began to make their own versions of jack-o'-lanterns by carving scary faces into turnips or potatoes and placing them into windows and near doors to frighten away stingy Jack and other wandering evil spirits. Okay, so people place them near doors to keep evil spirits away. That is true. Okay, number 9. The jack-o'-lantern tradition was introduced to England by Native Americans. So, if it says here, they soon found that the pumpkins are fruit. Okay, no. So if we start off from the third paragraph, we see that it says in Ireland and Scotland. Okay, so it then goes on to describe that they carved scary faces on turnips and they used it to ward off evil spirits. So it makes no mention here of Native Americans, so that is false. Okay, perfect. Okay. Alright, so let's continue. We're looking at the box there just below. Okay, sorry, it seems like it froze. Okay, so we're looking at that box just below A. So what we need to do there is match the words on the left to their definitions on the right. Write the correct letter in each box. So let's have a look at each word. So we've got originate, convince, eventually, claim, carve, unsavory, roam, immigrant. And then let's look at the definitions. To say something, to say that something belongs to you, to go to different places without having a particular purpose or plan, not considered morally acceptable, to appear for the first time, a person who comes to a country to live there, to persuade someone to do something, to write something on a surface by cutting into it, or in the end. Alright, so let's look at the word originate. Okay, so what do you think originate means? Let's give you a 5-second countdown. 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. So, originate means to appear for the first time. Okay, so number 1 will link it to D. Okay, number 2, convince. What do you think convince means? Okay, let's do a 5-second countdown. 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. Okay, so to convince is to persuade someone to do something. Okay, alright, now the next word, number 3, eventually. What do you think eventually means? Let's do a countdown. 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. So eventually is in the end. So we'll put that H by the number 3. 4, claim. What do you think claim means? Sorry. So let's do a countdown. 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. So that would be A, to say that something belongs to you, or to say that, yeah, someone belongs to you. You can claim someone or something as well. Okay, next we've got the word carve, number 5. So, countdown. 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. So if we look at the word carve, it's G, to write something on a surface by cutting into it. Alright, so G would be by number 5. Number 6, unsavory. Alright, so countdown. 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. So if we look at unsavory, It's C, not considered morally acceptable. Next, we've got roam. Let's do a countdown. 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. Okay, so to roam, to go to different places without having a particular purpose or plan. B, that'll be by number 7. And then we only have one more left, so this one will be obvious. Number 8 is E, a person who comes to a country to live there. Alright, so we are complete with this particular lesson. Now we'll be jumping into chapter number 10. Alright, so well done, ladies and gentlemen, for getting this far. Well done if you got all these answers correct. And I will see you soon.